Good morning. This is Dr. Ronastow, and you're watching an episode of Man in His Car. So yeah. Finally ditched the bagel bullshit. I'm eating some fucking romaine over here. I've always been eating, like, vegetables and stuff like that. That's never been an issue for me. But being able to completely get rid of all the bullshit, I never did it. So I don't think that romaine's going to be necessarily an option every single time. That's just what's in stock, and I always try to take advantage of the things when they're available in the store. But I mean, I got one huge advantage. If I go to the store literally every day before work, that means every day that I'm working, I'm eating relatively healthy, because I mean, my entire diet, like, I don't know if you can check in that bag, but that's like my food for the day. It's literally just a big thing of fruits and vegetables. Now, a lot of people approach me about stuff like meat. You know, it's just like, why don't you ever eat meat? Well, for one, I can't eat meat while I'm at my job. Just fucking, like, I could a vegetable. You know, just have a big old piece of meat. So, it's like, obviously, I'm not going to be doing that, like, I'm not just going to be eating meat in random situations like I would maybe a vegetable. But for part of my research, Dr. Joe Marcello suggested that I listen to the China study, which is not something I had listened to before. I got a little bit in. It's already pretty good. Pretty much from as I understand it, the guy did a bunch of research, and I mean, I'll talk more about this once I've read more into it. But you know, he concluded that a lot of the stuff that we've been told, especially about animal fat and food in general, doesn't belong in the human body. And it's not, well, so far, the only thing I've seen so far in the book was the relationship between, I believe, some of the pesticides and people's cancer rates. Not specifically because of the pesticides, or maybe it was a different chemical compound, but it was how affected people were. Yeah, I believe it was from the pesticides, based around how much of a certain protein they had in their body. And the protein for plant-derived proteins didn't cause the same issue. They came down to an exact science where they could identify, based around how much of this protein you had in your body, determine on whether or not you were going to die of a certain disease. So I haven't gotten into the fun stuff yet where he talks about how this stuff gets all muffled and suppressed. All I've really gotten to is the point where he starts talking about the negativity of, you know, well, I haven't gotten that far to really talk too much on that, so I'll hold my horses for that right now. As for the progression of everything else, right now, I won't be able to wrap up my stuff tonight. I only did a little bit. You know, the last couple nights I haven't been doing that much, and shame on me. I mean, I have, but I haven't. So, here's the thing. At my work, I have the luxury of being able to, between different like cycles and whatever the fuck I'm doing, right? I've got opportunity to write, and I will write constantly. There's a shit ton of paper right there. In between every opportunity, as I have a thought specifically pertaining to the book that I'm writing. So last time when I had a little packet like that from 2 days, that was roughly about 3,000 words. So if I do that 20 times, I've got a whole book. And that's not even counting the, like, research that I can't obviously include while I'm doing it because of, well, the lack of ability to research on the job. That's a little more in detail. I need to, like, listen to a lot of resources and read a lot of articles and so forth. But tell you what, it's pretty good start so far. So in that aspect, I did amazing. But from my previous project, Thoughts Become Things, turning it into an audiobook, I only did a couple sections. Now I've consistently done a little bit every day, and I'm only on the last like 30 pages, so it's like we're really close. I should have been done with it technically 2 days ago. But I just been dragging my feet on it. Whatever. I don't think there's been a day where I haven't gotten something done, though. Where at least I wasn't like researching or writing or something like that. I mean, I'm always researching. Every single day I'm listening to audiobooks in my car. I'm doing something, I'm talking to people, interviewing. So I think that's probably like the big thing that like maybe goes under the radar, you know. You like to look at the results and everything you've done definitively on like a certain project, but you don't really look at all the things that lead up to those progressions. Like, let's just say I didn't do any research before and I was just trying to write this shit when I was at work, right? Well, a lot of it would be just off the top of my head, mainly opinion based, and I would probably be a little bit more stuck on what to write about because my experience would be limited. But seeing as I already spent the time before on educating myself on a lot of different things I feel are important in vital health, I'm able to just talk more freely about the subject because I already am semi-aware about a lot of the contributing factors. So, kind of cool, right? And that's kind of how I feel. Like, every day I'm doing something that essentially is moving me in a forward direction. And although that's not particularly obvious during the process, that's why I'm talking about it right now, because you might feel that if you're doing something, or I should say, you might feel like you're not doing anything, but, as long as you keep what it is that you're trying to accomplish in the back of your mind all the time, and you know what you're about, and you know what you're trying to accomplish, just by having that intention, you're going to interact with the world in a way that's going to help you move towards that direction. So in your conversations, you're going to start talking to people more about what you've been thinking about. You're going to have thought patterns to that direction, and you're going to start thinking about maybe their answers. This is how I get a lot of my leads or my trails that I want to get to, what I want to learn next. I'll be talking to somebody just enthusiastic about what I'm studying or what I'm going for, what I'm writing about, and then depending on their reactions, maybe they'll say something, maybe I'll see how, it could go a whole bunch of different ways. One, they could have an outright opinion that disagrees, and they could have a good valid reason, which I would like to listen to. Another time they don't understand, which makes me think that I have to maybe clarify my position a little bit or get better at trying to communicate it. They could misinterpret what I'm saying, and that could open up a completely different avenue, or suggest that maybe I'm using ambiguous language. And, there's a whole bunch of stuff, You talk to other people, and you get a rough idea about what exactly you're trying to, what the hell? Oh well, I thought this guy was going a different direction. I'm just trying to turn around so I don't get stopped by traffic. You get your thoughts more collected, and you get an idea of what to do next, because depending on how people react, sometimes lead me to the next thing that I want to address. Because just off the top of your head, when you're thinking about, let's see, what's in the best interest of somebody, you're thinking from your perspective of what you already know up to this point. You're not always going to make the realizations that certain people are at different stages of the game than you are. Even though you intellectually understand that, you're not going to exactly know what level that is. But when you talk to people about these things, and when you conversate about all of it, that kind of sheds light on what the issues are. So, super valuable. But that's where I'm at right now. Every day, moving a little bit forward in another direction. So, hopefully these little rants or talks, I'm getting a little bit better, I feel, at speaking, although I'm not looking at the camera, but that's not because I have an issue with it, it's just because I'm driving in my car. But I already know that the discipline it takes to sit down and actually make a video when I'm not in my car would probably lead me to not making any videos, so I'll be damned if I'm not going to do this in this way. So that's all I got for right now. Hopefully you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later.